March 1st, 2024. Texts show prosecutors' ex-law partner gave info for effort to remove Fani Willis from election case. Elon Musk sues OpenAI and CEO Sam Altman for abandoning original mission to benefit humanity and instead making too much money. Israel opens fire on crowd of 1,000 Gazans waiting for food and killing over 100. CNN calls massacre a chaotic incident. Crowds chant Alexei Navalny's name as Russian opposition leader is buried in Moscow. Texas poised to lose billions in investment if Donald Trump elected. Leave it to NPR to helpfully explain how a fun leap year tradition is actually intended to ridicule women with false empowerment. As Vietnam grows ties with the U.S., a secret directive seeks to protect the Communist Party. California Panera Bread owner donated over $164,000 to Newsom. Business exempt from state's new $20 minimum wage law. Thomas Kingston, husband of Lady Gabriella, died from traumatic head wound. Cuba accuses U.S. of inventing spy threats. The race to try Trump before election reaches a critical stage. AI is taking people's drinking water. Joe Biden. My fellow Americans, you're all idiots. Driving at ridiculous speeds should be physically impossible. March 2nd, 2024. Washington to airdrop aid after Israeli shooting of food seekers in Gaza. Fear and loathing in a Super Tuesday state. Democrats angry at Biden, back him anyway to stop Trump. Migrant backlog to hit 8 million under Biden by October, data reveal. Blood money. Meet Adam Schiff, who looks away from the deadly fentanyl crisis in his backyard while taking donations from money laundering operators tied to the drug trade. White rural Trump supporters are a threat to democracy. Enemy of the state. Rook says Biden spy agency goes after conservative journalist. The America you grew up in no longer exists. 17 dead bodies, rape trees, and migrants crawling on his land. Arizona rancher, armed with Glock, describes life on the front lines of the border crisis as Republicans push bill to allow landowners to shoot trespassers. The USA is in a crisis of tyranny. Biden is bankrolling Israel's war amid growing financial hardship at home. Voters doubt Biden's leadership and favor Trump, Times Siena poll finds. What Biden's been eating on the trail and what it says about his campaign. Ship sunk by Houthis threatens Red Sea environment, Yemeni government says. Gagarin to Gaganyaan. India's Russia-trained astronauts are gearing to liftoff for Giant's first manned space mission. Biden is still the Democrats' best bet for November. Construction firms that built critical Ontario infrastructure projects during COVID say the province stiffed them. The courts were never going to save America from Donald Trump. Everything is going Trump's way. Except financially. Elizabeth Warren leads leftist freakout over Wendy's. March 3rd, 2024. Hamas says Gaza truce possible within 24 to 48 hours if Israel accepts terms. Malaysia may renew hunt for missing flight MH370, 10 years after its disappearance. Sunday trifecta for Trump. After big wins in Michigan and Missouri, Donald romps in Idaho. This is your country, and it's also Trump country. It's nuts that Trump will have classified briefings again. Shocking moment: Philly mayor's LGBT executive is slammed to the ground by state trooper during traffic stop as she yells, "It's because I'm black." How Israel quietly crushed early American Jewish descent on Palestine. This Chicago cop had to sue the city because they wouldn't let him change his race on his records from white to African. But if he wanted to change his gender, everything is rising at a scary rate. Why car and home insurance costs are surging. Ivanka Trump and Bill Gates among guests at pre-wedding for son of Asia's richest man in India. Hundreds of January 6th cases could be shortened in massive court win. Voters are more upbeat on economy, but Biden gets little benefit, Wall Street Journal poll shows. Nikki Haley suggests she's not bound by RNC loyalty pledge. March 4, 2024. The Supreme Court could decide whether Trump can appear on the 2024 ballot. Biden says Trump wouldn't concede next time. Losers are never graceful. JetBlue abandons troubled $3.8 billion deal for Spirit Air. Republicans struggle to explain away their hypocrisy on IVF. I might want that. Cringe-worthy moment: Priscilla Zuckerberg and Mark fawn over billionaire Anant Ambani's $1 million Richard Mille watch at his Indian wedding party as Ivanka calls the bash enchanting. SNL mocks Biden cronies covering up his declining mental and physical fitness. Mayorkas responds. Signal's new usernames help keep the cops out of your messages. The looming Biden-Trump rematch hits a kickoff moment. Sony just laid off nearly 1,000 PlayStation workers amid major struggling in the gaming industry. It's time for cognitive tests for U.S. presidential candidates. China's premier won't meet the press after 2 sessions for first time in 3 decades. The golden age of American Jews is ending. The Biden administration's use of this word to describe illegal immigrants prompts outrage. March 5, 2024. EU proposes major defense boost as it eyes Russia and Trump. Biden's new strategy. Go for Trump's jugular. Never woke enough. Anti-Israel protesters harass AOC outside movie theater. Call it a genocide. GOP doesn't care about winning elections, just owning libs. Drinking 7 cans of Diet Coke per week linked to deadly heart condition suffered by President Joe Biden, study warns. Turkish intel and police nab 7 over spying for Mossad. Confirmed. Chinese troops invading U.S. UN says Hamas committed sexual violence in October 7th attacks and against hostages. Administration officials watered down Kamala Harris's Gaza speech before delivery. Shots fired at Six Flags over Georgia during massive brawl among black teens on opening day. Supreme Court keeps Trump on 2024 presidential ballots by unanimous decision. Tucker Carlson compares U.S. to Roman Empire. The biggest Democrats running for California Senate are funding Republican campaigns. How did we get here? China's defense budget signals military readiness, not imminent war, experts say. The Biden administration is secretly flying hundreds of thousands of inadmissible aliens into U.S. AOC screams at protesters after being confronted in NYC. It's fucked up. March 6, 2024. Russia says West playing with fire by discussing troops to Ukraine. Trump and Biden ride Super Tuesday wins to rematch few want. Nikki Haley to drop out of GOP primary. Trump dominates Super Tuesday elections. Ouch. Marjorie Taylor Greene tells famed BBC journalist Emily Maitlis to fuck off after she asked her about her conspiracy theory that Jewish space lasers started Cali wildfires. Turkey will urge U.S. to stop its support to YPG. God is gonna cut the New World Order down. U.S. endorses Pakistan's sham election. Las Vegas stripper's OnlyFans account closed down after Harry nudes threat. Florida man facing 91 criminal counts dominates Super Tuesday primaries. Donald Trump is not as popular as everyone thinks. Bloomberg published an op-ed telling us that we will eat Z-bugs, but NPR told me this was a racist conspiracy theory. NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft is talking nonsense. Its friends on Earth are worried. Biden loses American Samoa presidential caucus. German MP calls for attack on government buildings in Moscow. The unholy alliance of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Democrats ready to hit panic button in Trump-Biden race. Reporter reveals what he was unprepared for following FBI arrest over January 6 reporting. March 7, 2024. Democrats pin 2024 hopes and fears on Biden's State of the Union. Raytheon lowers flags to half-staff after Nikki Haley drops out. Power company says its facilities ignited Texas' largest ever wildfire. Calling the shots. Trump announces he's doing live play-by-play of Biden's State of the Union address. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson announce fight in Dallas in July live on Netflix, despite an age gap of 30 years. Open your doors. City asks homeowners to house migrants after shutting down several shelters. Media claims assassination attempt on Zelensky after Russian missile strikes near motorcade. The informant at the heart of the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot was a liability, so federal agents shut him up. Biden should go dark Brandon at tonight's State of the Union. This mega-rich California neighborhood wants residents to volunteer their homes to be burglarized so authorities can catch the people who keep breaking into them. Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Russia issues arrest warrant for U.S.-based journalist. A looming disaster at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. How is Bob Menendez still in the United States Senate? China intensifies push to delete America from its technology. Amid explosive demand, America is running out of power. March 8, 2024. Stop giving weapons, Gaza residents cry after U.S. unveils port plan. In defiant State of the Union, Biden fires opening salvo and likely rematch with Trump. Official GOP response to State of the Union has Republicans losing it. Loud noises. Biden focuses on issues Americans care least about in biggest speech of presidency. Biden finally says murdered nursing student Laken Riley's name but gets it wrong and calls her Lincoln as Kamala's face drops at State of the Union. President is heckled by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Report card past president's speechwriters call Biden's address an utter disgrace and unprecedented. Joe flips the script. GOP scramble. He was too energetic. President Biden delivers the darkest, most un-American speech given by a president. Ex-undersheriff admits to having alleged deputy gang tattoo, then getting rid of it. This influencer listed all the horrible things Trump will do if elected and accidentally made him the best campaign ad of all time. GOP rebuttal. The American dream has turned into a nightmare. Biden's speech thrills Ukraine watchers. Others, not so much. Ukraine to spend millions of dollars blocking Russian TV. GOP stunned to discover it's not running against a cadaver. The most unusual State of the Union in living memory. Biden's radical pro-abortion agenda was on full display at the State of the Union. Are Biden and the Democrats finally turning on Israel? Biden heard on Hot Mic joking he sometimes wishes he was cognitively impaired. Fiery Biden takes on GOP, makes case for second term. March 9, 2024. UK judge orders Trump to pay $380,000 to man who penned infamous Steele dossier. A surge of illegal homemade machine guns has helped fuel gun violence in the U.S. D.C. billboard truck hits Biden for blood on his hands as America is burning at the hands of China. Stormy Daniels admits she exposed Trump to save my own ass. Outmatched. The 2024 election is set. Insult comic versus feeble old man. Mitch McConnell's billionaire shipping mogul sister-in-law drowned after making fatal mistake in her Tesla. Angela Chow's final moments are revealed, including desperate phone call for help after partying with her girlfriends on her Texas ranch. Blaze journalist gives update on Biden regime arresting him for filming on January 6th. More journalists will be arrested by the Biden DOJ. San Francisco ties welfare to drug screening and boosts police powers in stunning tough-on-crime shift. The congressman who yelled lies during the State of the Union has a history of crazy outbursts. Security threat. NYC gangbangers openly sell fake IDs and green cards to migrants as officials warn of danger. Waiting for another 9/11. Immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than U.S.-born Americans, studies find. RNC elects Lara Trump and Michael Whatley as new leaders. U.S. prepper culture diversifies amid fear of disaster and political unrest. Polish foreign minister backs sending NATO troops to Ukraine. Inside a secret society of prominent right-wing Christian men prepping for a national divorce. The secret gospel and a scandalous new episode in the life of Jesus. The election no one wants. U.S. presidential poll like choosing between a hedgehog and a porcupine. Hamas is seizing food aid meant for Gazans and selling it on the black market. How Texas-sized migrant crisis is pushing Denver to the brink. FBI informant accused of smearing Biden's had past credibility issues. March 10, 2024. Ramadan in Saudi Arabia is set to start on Monday. Biden breaks with Netanyahu but sticks with Israel. Border crisis solved as Texas builds massive wall out of discarded Funko Pops. Trump rocks UFC fight. Crowd goes wild. Chants USA and fuck Joe Biden. A pro-Biden dark money force. Supreme swap. Liberals start nudging aging Supreme Court justice toward the door as possible second Trump admin looms. Republican Senator Katie Britt admits cartel sex trafficking story did not happen under Biden's watch after her embarrassing State of the Union rebuttal was debunked. Liz Cheney and January 6th committee suppressed exonerating evidence of Trump's push for National Guard at Capitol. Trump's back on top. This is not fine. Haiti has completely collapsed. Gangs have taken over the capital, and the U.S. has evaluated its embassy. Now El Salvador's Bukele has offered to fix things. Erdogan among greatest anti-Semites in history, says Israeli FM. The Oscars are about to make a grave mistake. China leads global lithium race amid processing plant building boom in Zimbabwe. The only force stronger than polarization? Rising home prices. Scarlett Johansson on SNL nails Senator Katie Britt. Craziest bitch in Target parking lot. Firefighters who booed at Letitia James will be sent to HQ for woke re-education classes. I'm an expert on the end of the world. The Oscar-nominated Oppenheimer made me cry in terror. Biden warns Netanyahu a Rafah assault would cross red line. Buttigieg waves off Biden age concerns. What matters most is the age of a leader's ideas. Reforms prompted by police brutality are being rolled back. March 11, 2024. Fear of China, Russia, and Iran is driving weapons sales. Al-Qaeda's Yemen branch says leader Khalid al-Batarfi dead in unclear circumstances. U.S. futures slip as countdown to inflation begins. Trump torches Jimmy Kimmel during Oscars. Has there ever been a worse host? U.S. military airlifts non-essential embassy staff from Haiti amid gang violence. Russia's war machine is outproducing U.S. and Europe for Ukraine. Course correction. Dogged by crime concerns, Dems walk back their own reforms ahead of 2024 election. Palace refuses to release original Kate Mother's Day photo after Princess admitted she edited public version. Experts warn public will now question if health updates can be trusted. Kiev slams Pope's white flag call and vows no surrender to Russia. Thought police snitches. Bill in Washington offers $2,000 rewards to residents who report neighbors guilty of wrong speak. Kensington Palace refuses to release unedited photo of Kate. Op of the Heap. Best and worst moments of Oscars. From a naked John Cena, Barbenheimer, and more. Ukraine could deploy F-16s as soon as July, but only a few. Not satire. Portland bartender convicted of hate crime for misgendering and confronting trans-identified male in women's bathroom. Palestinian city honors U.S. airman who set himself on fire. Biden struggles to shake off dictator, genocide Joe epithet. U.S. conservative think tanks links to extremist fraternal order. Liberal America's Haiti isn't a shithole narrative took a fatal blow over the weekend. Biden is about to make everything you buy more expensive, again. March 12, 2024. UN envoy says allegations of sexual violence committed against Israel hostages do not justify attacks on Gaza. Blue cities go red with conservative policies on crime. U.S. core inflation tops forecasts for a second straight month. Trump's quiet attempt to stall his E. Jean Carroll payment. A different story. Trump's driver on January 6 disputes infamous claim POTUS tried to grab steering wheel to go to Capitol. We found 300 defects. Whistleblowers warning over Boeing's flagship 787 Dreamliner 3 months before he was found dead in his truck in hotel parking lot, as FAA reveals firm failed 33 of 89 safety audits. Deepfake celebrities hawked a massive Trump scam on Facebook and YouTube. Andrew Tate and brother arrested in Romania on UK rape warrant. General Mark Milley's second act. Multimillionaire. Outsquatted. Handyman Flash Shelton will squat with your squatters until they leave. Private jet, yachts and Lamborghinis seized in £76 million care home fraud raid. Consumer prices climbed 3.2% in February as 2% goal remains elusive. Confused commander. Biden forgot year of son Beau's death and Trump's election, special counsel interview transcript shows. Canadian law would allow judges to hand down life sentences for speech crimes. No, this isn't a joke. DA Fani Willis disqualification ruling expected this week. Robert Downey Jr. has no plans to slow down after winning an Oscar. New Zealand to seize black boxes from LATAM Boeing 787 as passengers recount incident. Pentagon reveals $10 billion arms hold due to Ukraine. Trump and Biden should both be terrified of the third-party vote. Beijing hits back as Biden team seeks $100 million to help Taiwan military. Ramadan in Gaza is eclipsed by Israeli savagery and starvation. Wray issues warning about the very dangerous threats FBI is seeing from border. March 13, 2024. Who is Marwan Issa, the Shadow Man, Al-Qassam Brigade's number 2? A bill that could ban TikTok is expected to pass in the House. I don't think I'll ever get caught. Swatters, who call in bogus crime reports to lure heavily armed police to a target's home, have set their sights on election officials. Trump will blow up America just like he blew up the RNC. Pentagon now sends Marine Anti-Terrorism Unit to Haiti to protect U.S. Embassy as marauding gangs take over. Republican rescues American orphanage workers abandoned by Biden. Coup plotter. Adjudicated rapist. Potential felon. The GOP nominee. Putin boasts Russian nuclear arsenal better than in U.S. Climate change data is based on fraud, and scientists around the world are pushing back against the narrative. We're throwing the book at criminals. Orange County aims anti-crime campaign at surrounding areas. Biden memory issues were a lie, transcripts and Robert Hur testimony show. United we fail. United reports fifth incident in just over a week as U.S.-bound flight returns to Australia. Donald Trump suffers brutal Georgia primary. Stephen A. Smith clowns media for praising Biden's State of the Union. If you think an hour speech offsets all of that, you smoking crack. Conservatives are warning about non-citizens voting. It's a myth with a long history. RFK Jr. considering Aaron Rodgers and Jesse Ventura as running mates, Rep says. Your vampire ball is over. Putin to Western elites. Beijing hits out over Taiwan Vice President-elect Xiao's personal trip to the U.S. Don't be lulled into thinking Trump 2 will just be a repeat of Trump 1. The terrible costs of a phone-based childhood. Here's when Jerry Nadler stepped on a rake while questioning Robert Hur. What's a Saturn return, and why are our favorite pop stars singing about it? March 14, 2024. Ukraine holds out despite stalled U.S. aid and fears deep advances by Russia. AI-created election disinformation is deceiving voters globally. Biden to criticize U.S. steel sale to Japanese company. U.S. producer prices jump, adding to signs of persisting inflation. Trump says, I will never do anything that will jeopardize or hurt Social Security or Medicare. Stormy Daniels is going to screw Trump's campaign schedule. VP Kamala Harris and Doug Emhoff are caught up in scandal over their plantation-like LA country club that's been labeled a racist aristocracy that disregards reports of sexual assault and rejects anyone not white or Jewish in blockbuster lawsuit. Bill Gates' GMO mosquitoes unleash 400% increase in dengue fever in Brazil. Now they're begging for his vaccines to stop the outbreak. Former Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin is assembling an investor group to buy TikTok. A new surge in power use is threatening U.S. climate goals. Surge in Russian dark web posts about U.S. election interference in 2024. Biden says we have among the lowest inflation rates of any country in America. West Point Military Academy drops duty, honor, country from its mission statement. Trump launched CIA covert influence operation against China. U.S. moles using Guantanamo to host Haiti migrants. China has 12.5 times more robots in its workforce than experts expected. Alexander Smirnov, U.S. firm that paid indicted FBI informant tied to Trump associates in Dubai, records reveal. Canada's largest pension bet big on commercial real estate. Now offices are emptying and valuations are crashing. The tropical disease that's suddenly everywhere. Byron York says Biden's 2024 formula is to mess things up and blame Trump. Schumer calls for new election in Israel in scathing speech on Netanyahu. March 15, 2024. Russians head to the polls as Putin looks to secure fifth term as president. Pentagon stares down drone swarm threat. Fed seen sticking with three 2024 cuts despite higher inflation. Red flags raised about FBI's Biden informant as far back as 2016. November nightmare? They are miles ahead. Despite election integrity hype, GOP could be walking into 2024 legal buzzsaw. Madness on the NYC subway as gunman gets shot in the head with his own gun after viciously attacking migrant and his girlfriend, and coming off worse. The dinosaurs of the Dow are roaring back to life. Kremlin slams U.S. distortion of Putin's words on nuclear weapons. Judge says Willis can stay on Trump case, but only if former romantic partner leaves. Feminism achieved. Denmark becomes third European nation to actively conscript women for military service. Father of Ethan Crumbly found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in relation to Oxford High shooting. U.S. issues veiled threat to Hungary. The fascinating, horrible habits so many people have picked up around news. Cara Delevingne LA home catches on fire. Massive blaze and response. Judge splits the baby in ruling on Fani Willis disqualification. The rough years that turned Gen Z into America's most disillusioned voters. March 16, 2024. Mike Pence won't endorse Donald Trump in 2024. It should come as no surprise. Matt Walsh blasts video games as childish, pointless drivel after son beats him in Mario Kart. Holder says media will change coverage and that'll help Biden win. A few escape Port-au-Prince, while millions face gang rule, hunger, and chaos. Gatekeeper. Supreme Court rules government officials can block constituents on social media in certain situations. Go back to where you came from. Thousands of retirees ditch Florida for Southern Appalachia, sparking fury among incensed locals as transplants push up house prices, back up traffic, and pack out restaurants. Adobe AI Firefly erases white people just like Google Gemini. Notorious serial killer spotted mingling with tourists in London. This was the hottest winter on record, but what does that mean? Experts wargamed what might happen if deepfakes disrupt the 2024 election. Things went sideways fast. 2. Yes 2. Pilots dozed off at 36,000 feet in the air with over 150 passengers on board. This medieval astrolabe has both Arabic and Hebrew markings. Here's what it means. Australia. Queensland health researchers claim long COVID isn't real, calls it unnecessary fear. A lot of bad blood. Donald Trump still isn't reaching out to Nikki Haley. Ukraine outcome will weaken U.S., says Moscow. 2 injured in barbecue restaurant blast in China. House GOP heirs teamed with conspiracists who called migrants apes and Congo cannibals. The Supreme Court's puzzling decision to allow the government to ban drag shows explained. March 17, 2024. Trump says there'll be bloodbath if he loses and ramps up anti-migrant rhetoric. He's lost my vote. Many Irish Americans turn against Biden over Gaza war. Associated Press admits it has no geolocation data to back up Bernie Moreno smear. Totally inappropriate. Netanyahu slams Schumer's speech. Hollow Point. Blue State Governor says her National Guard subway patrol is working despite recent train shooting. Guatemalan migrant smiles as he's freed from jail and declared incompetent to face charges after being accused of killing Florida deputy while trying to resist arrest. Damning dossier. Fox News reveals secret report Israel used to persuade nations to defund Hamas-linked UN agency. Volcano erupts again on Iceland Peninsula. You're not doing a prank, Tucker Carlson tells man pranking him. Florida's latest crusade is a Christian nationalist horror story. Behind the scenes, Biden has grown angry and anxious about re-election effort. Fast feud. NYC Burger King hit with $15 million suit, accused of allowing open-air drug bazaar run by professional dealers. How Donald Trump's allies are winning the war over disinformation. Report shows that Don Lemon demanded a free Cybertruck, millions of dollars, and much more from Twitter before having his show canceled. Suspect barricaded in New Jersey home after killing 3 people in Philadelphia suburb, hostages rescued safely. African state scraps military ties with U.S. Why Americans should be terrified of Elon Musk's new technology. Biden blasts Trump as too old and mentally unfit. Russians protest Putin in long lines at polling stations, answering call from Navalny. March 18, 2024. Israeli military raids Gaza's main hospital, claiming Hamas is using it as a base. Obama would be jealous. How Biden's rivalry with his ex-boss shapes his presidency. Apple is in talks to let Google Gemini power iPhone AI features. Machete-wielding militias battled gangs in Haiti's capital. LA battles spate of burglary tourists as marauding gangs from Chile, Ecuador, Colombia, and Peru jet in on 90-day visas and ransack millionaire mansions before fleeing back to South America. Party favor. Study blows lid off 16 years of Google's election manipulations. Trump hate overdrive. Smears migrants as animals, not people. Biden admin preparing toughest ever auto emission standards. Trump has big plans for California if he wins a second term. Fasten your seatbelts. Putin warns full-scale World War III is possible if just one thing happens. Superpower worms in Chernobyl may be immune to nuclear radiation. The Devil Comet is visible in the night sky and is sticking around for the eclipse. West decries Putin's election win, China and India vow closer ties. Iran inks $13 billion worth of new oil deals. A wild weekend of Trump telling you exactly what he will do. Donald Trump, Putin bromance has U.S. intelligence officials fearing second Trump term. Kate Middleton reportedly spotted visiting farm shop. No photo evidence or proof. Biden screamed and swore during private meeting after being told he is losing to Trump. Border security deadlock heightens risk of government shutdown. March 19, 2024. Trump is making the January 6th attack a cornerstone of his bid for the White House. FBI arrests number 1 most wanted criminal, Pepe the Frog. Trump considers campaign stop at mothballed Virginia factory to highlight Biden's Made in America screw-ups. The name's Johnson. Taylor Johnson. Aaron has been formally offered the chance to play James Bond and will sign contracts this week. Truly baffling. Hundreds of Hollywood stars unite to denounce Oscar winner's controversial speech. U.S. Defense Chief says Washington will not let Ukraine fail. More than 1 million Haitians set to immigrate to U.S. as they flee cannibalistic gang warfare. Mike Pence's cowardice is evident even in his refusal to endorse Trump. Bad week. Trump sues ABC, George Stephanopoulos for defamation after host accused him of rape in Mace interview. Hong Kong adopts sweeping security laws, bowing to Beijing. Map shows U.S. cities Russia would strike first if war broke out. Joe got a special pair of sneakers designed for maximum stability, and I'm sure no one is laughing at America right now. Barack Obama visits Downing Street for unexpected meeting with UK PM. Kate Middleton's photo of Queen Elizabeth surrounded by royal children was manipulated, photo agency says. U.S. warns African nation against ties with Russia and Iran. Revealed. Documents shed light on shadowy U.S. far-right fraternal order. King Charles surfaces leaving Windsor Castle amid Russian death hoax. A Palestinian unwrapped a U.S. aid package. It didn't go well. Brett Kavanaugh rides to the Biden administration's defense in a big First Amendment case. The left turns on Fani Willis after judge finds odor of mendacity remains in Trump case. March 20th, 2024. Long COVID mystery. Researchers are scratching the surface of what they understand. Russia calls European Union's plan to use frozen assets for Ukraine theft. Supreme Court opens new frontier for insurrection claims that could target state and local officials. Texas immigration law blocked again, hours after Supreme Court let Texas arrest migrants. Trump going bankrupt is an opportunity to reset America. Capitol thrill. Hunter Biden ex-business partners to go scorched earth on Biden's and House Democrats in testimony. Gun enthusiast boss of Little Rock's Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport is shot in the head during firefight with federal agents as they served warrant at his home. Party pass. GOP shrugs off Trump shock remarks. Pfizer vaccine manufacturing plant spills more than 1,000 gallons of harmful methylene chloride chemical. Mystery among the vines. Why is the FBI probing some of Napa Valley's fanciest wineries? Tower play. Donald Trump may not pay bond, and instead, let Letitia James seize Trump Tower, say insiders. Woke doctors thought a tool that accounts for ethnic differences in kidney function was racist, so they removed it and screwed up the entire kidney transplant database. Scientists studied how cicadas pee. Their insights could shed light on fluid dynamics. Quiet on set, dark side of kids' TV exposes toxic culture at Nickelodeon. Trump's attacks on Chinese cars strike a chord with both parties. Biden forgets NATO's newest member. Apple CEO Tim Cook goes on a charm offensive in China amid weak iPhone sales. Trump claims 2024 will be rigged, putting Republican turnout at risk. Tony Bobulinski claims Hunter Biden committed perjury in testimony. March 21, 2024. What happens if Trump can't secure a bond for his $464 million civil fraud judgment? Trump says migrant crime is new category of crime in America thanks to Biden and Democrats. Heated. Hunter Biden hearing grinds to a halt after ranking Democrat threatens Bobulinski with subpoena. If a house is not inhabited, seize it. Venezuelan migrant shares TikTok telling illegal immigrants how to invade American homes and legally squat in them. Goldman says office mortgages are living on borrowed time. Startled Dodgers move on after Shohei Ohtani's interpreter accused of theft and gambling. Biden vastly outspending Trump on digital ads. Neuralink's first patient says the first thing he did with his brain chip was stay up all night playing Civilization 6. See how he's doing now. Rupert Murdoch and the new Washington Post CEO are accused of a cover-up in a hacking scandal. Charges dropped against Gold Star father who heckled Biden. U.S. scraps airborne directed energy weapon program, says media. In a battle between lasers and hypersonic weapons, scientists find less is more. Just out there running for prez as a straight-up mob boss. What made the cut in Congress's $1.2 trillion funding deal? First ever kidney transplant from gene-edited pig offers hope. U.S. sues Apple and alleges tech giant exploits illegal monopoly. Bidenomics has hurt more voters, and Trump helped them. March 22, 2024. UN Security Council rejects U.S. draft resolution on Gaza ceasefire. Checkmate. Trump sneaks back into White House and invokes squatters' rights. China jolts FX markets as yuan suffers worst day in 2 months. Deep State Biden crime family. Report says CIA blocked feds from interviewing Hunter Biden's sugar brother. Two-tiered justice. Preferential treatment for POTUS son. DOJ sat on Cohen records for years. Then dumped them on Trump. Border invasion. Video shows illegal migrants overwhelming Texas National Guard and storming border wall. Trump claims he has $500 million in cash, but doesn't mention paying fraud fine with 3 days until the deadline. Ex-president rages at Letitia James as AG moves to seize his properties. Ethics Council says restricting freedoms may be necessary to fight climate change. Havana Syndrome. How the Biden administration is driving Cubans into misery. Millennials gave birth to Generation Alpha. Are these kids already doomed? Has a massive door been found in Antarctica? There's a communist multimillionaire fomenting revolution in Atlanta. Selling Mar-a-Lago won't save Donald Trump. Here's why. The ultimate green burial? Human composting lets you replenish the earth after death. From I love you to asshole. How Joe gave up on Bibi. LGBT movement added to Russia's terrorist list. U.S. drone use in South China Sea increases risk of friction and misjudgment. Federal judge warns of a January 6th repeat in the 2024 election. It's not the economy. It's the pandemic. Why the Pentagon wants to build thousands of easily replaceable AI-enabled drones. Here's how Biden defied the Supreme Court to cancel $144 billion in student loans. March 23, 2024. Border battles. Abbott admin blasts Biden after KJP dodges question about border storming and deflects to Texas governor. Putin claims Moscow concert hall killers were on their way to flee via Ukraine as he announces 4 gunmen who killed 143 have been arrested and vows harsh retribution. Kate Middleton announces cancer diagnosis as many suspect COVID jab to blame. House Republicans just gave Biden the biggest possible gift. This incentivized activism company is looking to hire 7-foot, 300-pound giants to attend protests. Ex-RNC Chair Ronna McDaniel hired as NBC and MSNBC political contributor. Senate sends $1.2 trillion funding package to Biden, thwarting partial shutdown. Moscow attack. More than one ISIS branch involved and Russia in its crosshairs. Maricopa turns tabulation center into encampment to avoid Lollapalooza for the alt-right. Raisi sends message of condolence to Putin over deadly terrorist attack near Moscow. Dish Network's fraud case had an interesting development following a Biden campaign donation. Americans have 40% chance of getting cancer. Who's most at risk? Kate Middleton's cancer diagnosis is part of a frightening global trend. Biden's new war on your iPhone is a joke. March 24, 2024. Putin vows retribution for deadly Moscow concert hall attack. Meghan Markle announces Netflix show about how hard it's been dealing with Kate Middleton's cancer diagnosis. 2024, Dems ramp up dark Brandon rhetoric. AOC says Trump ordered terrorist attack on Capitol. Kiev under massive Russian attack, raising alarm in Poland. Getting schooled. DOJ creates new center to help local officials apply red flag laws against certain gun owners. Trolled in the tropics. Kamala Harris claps along to protest song in Puerto Rico, unaware it's a jab directed at her. Flashback. State Department's Victoria Nuland warns Russia will receive nasty surprises. Woman who was jailed for keeping girl as slave now baking cakes for Premier League stars. Pope Francis faces growing revolt. Hoo boy. Avian flu has been found for the first time ever in U.S. livestock. Princess Kate's cancer diagnosis triggers public shock and sympathy. And shame on the tabloids. Biden signs $1.2 trillion spending bill to keep government open. Pence makes his final break from the Trumpism he once championed. Israel summons Turkish envoy after Erdogan sent Netanyahu to Allah remark. The end of the iPhone as we know it. China warns Philippines against escalating situation in South China Sea. Canada's maple syrup reserve almost empty as sap season at risk of becoming another casualty of the winter that wasn't. Letitia James already began paperwork to seize Trump assets as the deadline looms to pay $464 million bond. Lisa Murkowski leaves open possibility of leaving Republican Party. March 25, 2024. UN Security Council for first time demands immediate Gaza ceasefire, U.S. abstains. Bloodbath at Boeing. CEO, Chairman of Board and Head of Commercial Plane Division to resign this year. Comedians line up to help RFK Jr.'s misinformation campaign. America's own lab leak scandal. Staff were bitten by COVID-infected hamsters and disease-ridden bats and shocking spate of accidents at taxpayer virus lab, exclusive docs show. Fake and ridiculous. Trump seethes at witch hunt over $454 million bond due and asks if he should be forced to sell babies. Pope says not taking the COVID vaccine is an act of suicide and refuses to condemn transhumanism mRNA vaccine tech. Squeezed by African coups, Biden cozies up to the world's worst dictator. Trump wants to round up over 1 million undocumented migrants from California. Here's how he might do it. ISIS warns of another massacre if Putin doesn't stop torturing terrorists. From Laddie Mag model to RNC co-chair. Lara Trump, Nepo spouse. Hush to judgment. Trump arrives in court for hush money case, slams it as a witch hunt and a hoax on same day $454 million fraud bond is due. Biden admin fast-tracks efforts to release grizzlies near populated communities despite outcry from locals. Kamala Harris won't disclose why Biden campaign is active on TikTok despite security worries. Governor Tina Kotek considering creating Office of First Spouse. NBC's McDaniel mess threatens to explode. Ukraine using U.S.-made chemical weapons, says Russian diplomat. New attack helicopters seen as vital in any PLA operations against Taiwan and India. Appalling. Kamala Harris and AOC run interference for Hamas. The Supreme Court will weigh in on the January 6th insurrection. What could possibly go wrong? March 26, 2024. Ronna McDaniel outrage renews scrutiny of politics to pundit pipeline. Trump announces he will pay entire bond using bag of nickels. Hazmat traffic faces big detour after Baltimore bridge collapse. Baltimore Interstate 695 bridge collapses. Mass casualty event. Struck by cargo ship. Trucks in the water. Prince Harry named in huge Diddy sex trafficking lawsuit. Doomed cargo ship Dolly was being piloted by a local crew trained to avoid obstacles in the Baltimore port. As it emerges, 100,000-ton vessel lost control and propulsion moments before smashing into the bridge. Genocide Joe. White House supported Israel despite knowing they were indiscriminately bombing civilians in Gaza. 4,000 acres of solar panels were destroyed in one Texas hailstorm. Locals are now worried about groundwater poisoning. Nelson Peltz condemns Disney's woke movie strategy, highlighting Black Panther and The Marvels. Downtown Portland's office vacancy rate is highest in the nation, report says. US, UK, and Ukraine could be behind Moscow terror attack, says FSB chief. Chinese ex-trade official slams US for dismantling global trade. Diddy. Private jet on ground in Antigua amid federal raids. March 27, 2024. Ship that crashed into Baltimore Bridge has a troubled history. BlackRock Sphinx spins for Biden regime. We're going to have higher inflation than most people believe. And that's a good thing. The Biden campaign is quietly preparing a Trump ambush. Carrage Main Pierre. KJP Rage quits local radio appearance after host asks point blank if Biden has dementia. Inside Diddy's trashed Miami mansion after feds busted open doors, flipped over his bedrooms, and rifled through drawers in sex trafficking probe. The rise of crypto's billion-dollar zombies. Two legal scholars call for Sotomayor's retirement. Cop corruption. San Antonio police found to be protecting human smuggling as side gigs for extra cash. Man stole human leg from next to train crash and then ate it like a drumstick. According to the ADL, 100% is now a hate symbol. No, this isn't satire. The Baltimore Bridge collapse gave conspiracy theorists a chance to boost themselves. Governor Tina Kotek's wife says she is in recovery from alcoholism and lives with mental illness. Biden calls Putin a butcher. Men and women live on two totally separate political planets right now. That's great news for one party. Caitlin Clark. Big Three offers her $5 million to join. Could still play in WNBA. The curious case of the man who bought most of Hunter Biden's overpriced art. Pulling the strings. Obama telling White House what he would do as Biden doubts grow. NTSB secures ship's black box. Recovery efforts begin as 6 are presumed dead. March 28, 2024. Paper thin. Boy dies of malnutrition as Israel siege leaves Gaza starving. A fight to protect the dignity of Michelangelo's David raises questions about freedom of expression. Buttigieg praises cargo ship for helping dismantle racism in American roads. Trump to join wake honoring slain NYPD officer. Joe don't care. Biden also in New York for fundraiser. Gaunt-looking king, stricken by cancer, shares his sadness. Sam Bankman-Fried, 32, is jailed for 25 years for $8 billion crypto fraud as FTX scammer ignores grim-faced parents in court and judge slams him for perjury and fines him $11 billion. Oregon is waging a war against small farms. Higher prices on the menu as fast food chains brace for California's big minimum wage jump. Let's talk about the recent trend of women getting punched in the face on the streets of New York. Texas man runs for president after legally changing his name to literally anybody else. Why Kate Middleton wanted to deliver cancer news alone without Prince William by her side. How Greene's bid to topple Johnson could blow up the House. Or in her own face. Melting polar ice causing distortions in time, says study. China urges Asian neighbors to take peace and security into their own hands. Time for another bizarre, easily disprovable lie from Joe Biden. The slow death of Twitter is measured in disasters like the Baltimore Bridge collapse. March 29, 2024. Russian air attacks force emergency blackouts in 3 regions of Ukraine. Blind people can hear and feel April's total solar eclipse with new technology. We will incinerate the planet. Why some say nuclear power's moment is now. At Manhattan fundraiser, the boys reminisce about all the good times they had together on that other island. Obama snaps at protesters at glitzy fundraiser with Biden, Clinton, and celebs. You have to listen. CDC alerts doctors to watch for rare bacterial infection with unusual symptoms that's killing 1 in 6 infected patients. Slamming the brakes. Biden administration issues toughest restrictions yet on all diesel burning trucks. UN event marks International Day of Zero Waste. Great replacement theory is already a reality in Michigan as state pays residents $500 a month to house illegals. War of words. Mayor Adams clashes with woke defense lawyer who downplayed NYPD cop's murder as rare occurrence. To the people who think Christians are weird, you're right. Let me explain why I celebrate the day my God died. Pricier Easter bunnies and eggs. Half-dipped Kit Kats. What's up with chocolate? Puerto Rico declares public health emergency due to dengue virus outbreak. Russian region defines gender change as grounds for divorce. China's central bank cautious in bond trade, even with mandate from Xi Jinping. MAGA Republicans want so bad to run against the black guy. East Coast's largest crane arrives in Baltimore for bridge wreckage. Evan Gershkovich. 1 year stolen. A year in Russian prison. A year stolen of stories, stolen joys, and stolen memories. The crime? Journalism. Georgia Republicans approve bill to adopt new election rules ahead of November. March 30th, 2024. Washington approves billions in bombs and warplanes for Israel. Jesus paid it all. Conservative lawmakers and more observe Good Friday. Trump posts video that shows image of Biden tied up in the back of a truck. Didn't sign up for this. Frustrated Lizzo says she quits. Gas muzzlers. Biden EPA locks in stringent emissions rule for heavy-duty vehicles to fight climate change. California Park is urging hikers to steer clear of illegal trails because they risk running into grenades and landmines. Not holding back. New York governor ridiculed by Long Islanders for appearing at slain NYPD officer's wake. Woman receives FBI visit over ex-post criticizing lax sentencing of man who murdered cousin. The Easter Bunny can't be happy about the global chocolate meltdown. Some potential Trump witnesses get carrots. Michael Cohen got the stick. Is DEI a racial slur? Rise in term outrages Black Americans. Harvard destroys historical book wrapped in human skin to restore dignity to the woman whose skin was used. Climate change is delaying world clock's need for a negative leap second. The U.S. Air Force wants a diverse officer corps. It's not working. Epstein's pedophile island visitors revealed in leaked cell phone data. China issues travel advisory for the U.S., warning of searches and harassment. Another one? FBI agent visits woman's home over tweet. These 8 U.S. bridges are vulnerable to a repeat of the Baltimore crash. One reason we can skip the doomsday predictions for 2024. March 31, 2024. Trump is inciting political violence sharing Biden hogtied video, says Biden campaign. What's keeping egg prices high for Easter? It's not just inflation. U.S. oil suppliers muscling into OPEC plus markets all over the world. Happy Easter. Transgender Day of Visibility is just one of 50-plus LGBTQIA2S+ celebrations. As Christians celebrate Easter today, there's a new debate about the identity of the historical Jesus. Fury as FDNY firefighters are forced to remove stars and stripes, honoring September 11th heroes after Democrat lawmaker branded their banner a fascist symbol. Money transfers proof that Crocus terrorists for hire followed orders from Ukraine. NBC rejects Trump voice but embraces war party. She died after liposuction by a pediatrician. Doctors warn of cosmetic surgery's Wild West. Traffic blockade protests were a nuisance. Lawmakers want to make them a felony. Trump's Bible ad hides a more sinister goal this Easter Sunday. Easter ambush. Protesters disrupt Easter Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral, forcibly removed after Free Palestine chants. Millions of customers' data found on dark web in latest AT&T data breach. Religious-themed designs banned from White House Easter egg roll art event. Another U.S. bridge hit by a vessel. Kansas City Chiefs Rassie Rice. Cops looking for him in connection with major accident. Joe Biden is funding border security in foreign countries as U.S. border exceeds record numbers. U.S. and Israel's unprecedented intelligence sharing draws criticism. Raphael Warnock slams Trump for selling $59.99 Bible. Baltimore braces for economic hit amid fears port shuttered for months.